Joni, so many new players now, you've had a little bit of practice, what have you. Is this going to be where you might need to go through the non-conference, might be even more for people to mash together? What about that?
I think yes, for several reasons. We have more players. There's been some players who are coming off of injury, like meniscus surgery, ACL surgery from last year, that are just now getting cleared to play, that I think are going to be valuable for us. And there's some players who came here and had nothing serious, but like a high ankle sprain, right? And so our flow is still up for grabs in terms of positions played, who necessarily is going to start. So I do think you'll see a little bit of change up in terms of like our starting lineup, or just the consistency of like who's on the floor for us. And I think some of that will be determined by who we're playing as well. With all that being said, like that's a good thing because we have options and we have a lot of talented players on our team. And so it makes for competitive practices. And I think we're all excited to get started next week.
Because I was going to say, numbers probably helps out that you don't need to have somebody out there for 30 minutes, even
Correct.
in the next, even in a non-conference game.
Yeah, I mean, I hope we don't. If that's the case, then we're not doing something right. And some players, we tell our players it's not equal opportunity. Just because we have numbers does not mean you're going to get to go out there if you're not taking care of business in practice. And so the other reason why we might see a certain player at a certain position for extended minutes is because the other players haven't earned the right to go out there. You don't just get to. It's not everybody gets a turn.
Is this preseason, is there any different feel than, I mean, I know obviously having, healthier bodies and everything, but is there any, different feel in practice, mentality-wise with these girls than beginning of last year?
I think as you guys get to continue to know them and interview them and spend time with them, you're going to feel like really good energy from them. They're connected. They are hungry. They're driven. And so, yes, there's a different excitement. There's a different energy, and they're working really, really hard. So there is a bit of a difference from this year's team to previous years.
When we got to go and cover your open practice, y'all had names on the back of your shirts. I think yours was the Shepherd.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit about that?
All right. So our motto is PTI, right? Program, team, individual, in that order, always. And then we also kind of look at this team because they all have qualities that we need them to bring every single day. So while it is about the program and the team, like individually, they all have a superpower. And so we kind of looked at it as like the Avengers. Every Avenger kind of has their own movie. But then there are times where the Avengers all come together for the common good of whatever mission it is they're fighting. And so that's kind of the mentality we adopted with our team, because they all kind of have a superpower that they need to show up with every single day. And so when we went on our team retreat this year, we presented them with those shirts and we gave each of them a name. And then I read like a little poem that kind of rhymed that explained the meaning of their name. And they thought it was a really, really cool idea. They loved it. It hits for them and who they are and the personalities and what we need them to do on the floor. And so the second day of our retreat, they got together during some free time and they gave us as coaches names. And so they gave me the Shepherd. It's very biblical, obviously, being the shepherd in the Bible, and just me being someone who protects, looks out for, leads just the sheep in that way. And so their message to me was continue to be their eyes and ears, go before them, behind them, beside them, all around them, and just continue to lead them in the right way.
It's your first year without Sahara Jones being
Yeah.
on your roster.
Yeah.
How have you noticed, now that she's not here, the impact that she left, and also she's also left a lot to the three returners that you have in terms of carrying on that culture and how they kind of picked up that role?
She's had 21 points the other day too, so she's doing well overseas. Sahara is someone who just, I'm not sure she missed a game in the 3 years that she played. Maybe that first year with her back, right? But she was reliable. You knew that she was going to show up every single day. She was going to play her heart out, and that she wanted to win. She was competitive, and that's just something that she brought every single day. And so while we have some players on our roster who bring that every single day, I certainly wish that, Sahara would have been around this team to instill some of that in them and for them to see how she just showed up every single day.
What kind of big picture goals do you guys talk about right now as you start the season?
Well, right now we're talking about a lot of low hanging fruit that we need to take care of so that we can focus on big picture things. I think for us, it's always, what are the three things on offense we're focused on and what are the three things defensively? So we're talking a lot about offensive spacing, shots for the right people in the right spots. There's a certain percentage of our offensive rebounds we want to have, right? So crashing the boards, and those are things that we're metrically tracking right now. And then defensively, it's, guarding your yard, guarding the ball. Our ball screen defense has to be really good because everybody is going to run some type of ball screen offense. And then defensively as well, rebounding the basketball, a certain percentage of the other team's shots, we have to rebound. And so right now in the preseason, moving into the season, that is all we're tracking right now. And for us, what we have found is if we take care of those 3 or 4 offensive statistics with the numbers that we've given them, and then do the same thing defensively, that's going to put us where we need to be in the league, which is going to put us where we need to be as it relates to the NCAA tournament. And so instead of talking, we want to do this, and because everybody wants to go to the tournament and everybody wants to win the SEC championship and be SEC champs, right? Everybody has that goal. So let's work backwards from that and talk about these are the 3 or 4 things that for us we need to do offensively, and these are the 3 or 4 things we need to do defensively. And if we do that, the other things that we want, we're going to look up and we're going to be there.
So where is the team's defensive development? Because you always talk, you don't do defense until you really start this part of the season.
Yeah.
And that being said, do you have 2 or 3 that stand out more? You always seem to have 1 or 2 shut down people.
We're still working on that. I'm probably being really nitpicky here. There are some things that we've done really well, and there are some things that we can still do as well as we're doing them. We can do a ton better. I don't think we're rebounding the ball the way we need to. Our own ball defense can be a ton better right now. We're slow to help. I think we're slow to help a little bit because our own ball defense has been stifling at times. And so we haven't rotated. And when we get beat, the backside rotation is not where it needs to be right now. So there's still some things in that area that we can definitely uptick in.
The flip side, what about last year you had some problems at times with protecting the basketball. So now that you have more people and you got some people coming from mid-majors
Yeah.
that, a little bit higher athleticism. So how is your ball handling, I guess?
Our ball handling is fine. Our decision making is where we've got to get better. But I think that correlates to flow and not having continuity with certain people on the floor. Our ball handling is not as much of a concern as it is the decisions we're making. So if we're turning it over right now, it's because of decision making, not necessarily being capable of handling the basketball. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Sure.
You've always been a big defensive coach.
Yeah.
But when it comes to offense, you basically just, as you brought in different people, do you just kind of have to adapt your offense based on the tools that you got?
Well, we've done that a little bit here in the beginning because our roster was our roster, and now that we are recruiting players and bringing in players that fit our style, we don't want to have to change how we play. And I think now that we are settling into players who fit our style, you're going to see more consistency in terms of what we do. I think injury played a role in that too. We couldn't run the way we wanted to when we only had 7 players. We only had 8 players. But no, our philosophy is we recruit players that fit our style of play, not we're going to recruit players and then change our offensive style and our offensive flow.
So I guess I'll be a little basic style. Your defense first, right? You like to run, am I correct? Or how would you define your style walking up to someone that hasn't seen you before? I guess the style you want.
Yeah, I would say offensively we want to play fast. We want to play in transition and score early and often. And if we get into continuity in the half court, you're going to see a pro style offense. A lot of our players want to play overseas. They want to play in the WNBA. And so we think it's really important right now to let them understand that terminology and play that style. So that's what you're going to see if we have to play in the half court. Defensively, we want to be stifling. We want to dictate. We want to disrupt. And we want to be the ones who, again, dictate what happens on the defensive end of the floor.
Have you had a chance to kind of interact with Bucky at all?
Yeah.
And tell me, He seems like a big relationship kind of guy, so can you tell us?
Yeah, Bucky's been great. His whole staff has been great. There's some ties there. TJ Cleveland and I were in Villa 7 together as assistant coaches. Obviously, know Mike Anderson well, and so I've always had a connection to him. And then when Mitch Cole and Kyle and Darby were here, the first time around, they were really good friends with Amir Abdur-Rahim, who I was really close to as well. And so there's some connections there. So while we didn't necessarily know each other, we knew of each other. And then just being able to talk to Bucky. Bucky's a defensive guy, right? He wants to press. He wants to play fast. So we're similar in some ways. And so I'm excited to watch Bucky ball and to learn from him. But we had a head coaches meeting, I don't know, 2 days ago. And when it was over, we stood in the parking lot for an hour and talked basketball, and we're guarding poles and cars to put ourselves in the right offensive and defensive position. So it's just really fun to be able to connect with him. And then, we do have a great group of head coaches here at Texas A&M. And so there's great conversations to be had anytime we get together.
With Coach G retiring yesterday,
Yeah.
can you say some stuff about him?
Selfishly, I wish I had more time with him. Anyone who has the career that he's had and has spent the time at one institution the way he has, there's so much knowledge to learn from him. And so, I selfishly wish I would have had more time with him. I think G is someone who not only is a great coach, but he thinks about what's best for the institution, and he's always, from day one, been willing to help me, and I know everyone else who came here as a head coach and was trying to find their way. And so he's just a wealth of information. He's a great human being, and I know he's going to still be around, so I'm looking forward to still picking his brain and just, again, being around him and absorbing as much knowledge and information that I can.
Girls got their Halloween costumes picked out.
Yeah, they
Mom and
do.
Dad, Joni
They
did.
do. Not only do they have their Halloween costumes picked out, this is like red ribbon week at school. And so they've had to dress up every single day. So I think today's pajama day, so they're in their pajamas at school, which was great for them. But JC is going to be, so on Halloween, it's like book character day. So you come to school dressed as your favorite character from a book. And so, I mean, in my opinion, it's a little out of character for her, but she's going to be the big bad wolf at school. And then she's a vampire on Halloween. And Drew is Hello Kitty at school, and Harley Quinn for Halloween. Harley Quinn, for those of you who don't know, is the Joker's girlfriend, and that's very fitting for Drew. So.
Mom and Dad dressing up too? Or not?
Yes, we are, but we kind of have a bit of a Halloween costume contest within our office, and so I'm not at liberty to discuss anything further than that. Yeah.